Hey, and welcome back once again to the Endurance Hour podcast, episode 131. On location, you may or may not be able to hear the water fountain in the background with the pool here at the Lodge on the Desert.
Lodge on the Desert
is the name of our hotel here. We were at Timex Camp 2015, Roger Thompson and myself, and a special episode. We're going to kind of recap what we've been doing the last 3 or 4 weeks, but also, most importantly, what this camp's been all about and the incredible stories, products we've learned about, and also a very special presentation.
Yeah, that is. I mean, gosh, you go back, and I know we've only been here 4 days, but every day this year has really been packed full of activity. We've had, we always come down with the dream that there's going to be this training time that, it's like you think, oh, they go down and they do all this training. And it's like there's really not a lot of physical or active training. We get a window in the morning, early morning, 5:30 to basically 8 to do it, and then we might get an hour in the afternoon when you're already cooked and tired and everything.
After 6 clinic sessions throughout the day, we divide by a lunch, and then go out. And you
definitely don't feel like going, oh, I'm going to go for a run now. I'm so energized. It's normally people retreat back to their, rooms and kind of sort through all this stuff and then show up for food time.
Power nap it if you can.
That might have been my favorite part of this trip, and normally it is the food.
Which was special this year.
It was very
extra special this year. Scratch Labs?
Yeah.
Which is a new sponsor of ours, which has to do with sodium replacement and food from scratch, which made sense when the guy was talking about it, Alan Lim.
Yep.
And their cookie recipe, which is really just cookies.
But pretty good cookies.
Okay, anyways, so Scratch Labs prepared all our food, and it was really, really good.
And two cookbooks they have out that actually I'm really excited to get my hands on, actually.
We're going to go all over the place with this,
right,
but now we're talking about Scratch Labs. Tell me about your sodium test and explain what that was. It was super quick and easy, and it wasn't that involved like we've had in the past with other testings where you're carrying around your salt. Okay, you said it. Okay, you're carrying around your bucket of pee. And you're getting doused with water after a hard workout. This is so streamlined. And you did it. I didn't do it. I didn't have a chance to do it.
You didn't do it?
I missed my window.
Oh, man. That would have been good to know.
Yes.
I mean, but again, it's only good when you don't have it. So basically what they did is they put this chemical on you. This, I believe he called it anything that makes your body sweat in a specific spot, like at its maximum level. Mm-hmm. And then they put a little sensor or sweat collector that they strap to your arm. And once that's sweat reaches a certain level, you hand it in, they analyze it. And basically it tells you your sodium content in your sweat when you're sweating at your maximum amount. So it was pretty cool. So everyone determined whether they were a very, very high salt sweater or a low, or sodium, I guess, sweater, or the other side. And I found, which I kind of knew, but I didn't know the amount, I'm actually a very, very low, I think I was in the bottom 3 of the team of sodium content. Now that doesn't have anything to do with the amount you sweat, but the amount of sodium that's in your sweat. So how much electrolytes do you need to keep replacing versus not? So I don't want to say one is better than the other. It's just saying it's good. You need to know that information.
Mm-hmm. Oh, especially if you're going to be in a hot environment or maybe body size. And the cool thing with Scratch is that they're packets of powder that you would put into a water bottle of 16 fluid ounces, for example, could have a certain concentration of it versus another amount, and you may not want to go too much.
Right. And, some people overload the sodium content, and of course your body in a lot of cases will just slough it off. But you can also really mess up your electrolyte imbalance or balance as well, and make it really imbalanced. But you see a lot of people, overdo the sodium and they're sweating it out and they can feel it on their face. It's gritty and so
you see the white on the jerseys, their kits.
Guys are peeling out.
Oh, that was, by the way, a little off-camera, off-audio cameo by Ben Greenfield from Ben Greenfield Fitness.
They're actually staying down here a little longer, but they're going to go tour.
Oh, that's right. He's going to rent a bike. They have a farmer's market here in Tucson, just a couple blocks away. Ben's going to rent a bike.
Yeah.
And explore Tucson.
cruise around, check things out. So yeah, I've never been down here before, but going back to scratch and that testing, it was very beneficial, very educational, and now the application of it. So,
and we've got a lot of samples to work with, which is going to be fun to try.
Yeah.
And then the spelling of scratch was SKRATCH.
Yep, and check them out. I mean, they are. It's not just a normal bunch of sugar in a mix. It's
a great success story.
Using freeze dried fruit and
for their flavoring, right?
It's pretty cool. So check them out.
So that was one element of a sponsor, for example, that we were going through all these different clinics, and then
you know what I liked about that one, even going back to the sweat, is that he takes the simple measure of, hey, when you're going to go out and work out for a long time, weigh yourself before you work out, go work out, and weigh yourself when you get in, and calculate how much, figure out how many bottles you drank when you were out, and that'll tell you how much fluid you are losing. And it's so simple, yet we all try to create something really scientific, and it's just like, bottom line, that's the fluid you're losing. You're not losing really any fat or anything like that. You're losing fluid when you see you.
So you're measuring the weight of the bottles of water too?
Oh yeah, well, because you got to remember. So hypothetically, let's say you weigh 100 pounds, naked, because you don't want to weigh with your jersey and stuff on, because when you sweat, that gets wet, and you don't want to weigh yourself with that sweat in the jersey, because then you're not accounting for what actually left. So you weigh naked, and then you say you ride, and say you drank 2 bottles,
okay,
2 16-ounce bottles. So 16 ounces of fluids, or 32 ounces of fluid is how many pounds? I don't know. It should be actually pretty simple to convert with a little converter. But then you say, okay, you finish your ride and you weigh now 98 pounds. Okay, it's like, oh, I lost 2 pounds. It's like, well, actually you lost 2 pounds and the 32 ounces that you drank, because you added that weight to yourself.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so now you go, so how much did you totally lose? Well, actually you lost, 2 pounds and 32 ounces of fluid. So it starts to give you an idea of the amount of fluid that you're losing
over that specific time.
Over that specific time, as well as that specific, weather condition. If it's 85 degrees and humid, or maybe it's, not humid at all, it's really dry. I mean, it's just more data for you to analyze if you want and look at. And if you're having trouble with dehydration or cramping or anything like that, it's, you got to start trying to figure it out, and just throwing pills or drinking more, drinking less, at the problem, and it doesn't work. You don't really know what variable you're changing. So some people accidentally get it right and they can't replicate it, and that's the bummer.
Sure.
You definitely don't want to. People typically won't do the same thing wrong 2 times in a row either. So,
some other highlights of the Timex camp for us, I would say, would be the group dinner, the evening dinner, the awards night dinner, where you're sitting around with everybody. I mean, all the greetings the first night you come in. It's like, oh, hey, buddy, I haven't seen you for a while. All the hugs and catching up with people, and it's hard to really explain to our listeners and viewers of what a family atmosphere this really is.
Right.
It's beyond anything I've experienced in a team concept. I don't know what it is. Maybe because we're adults. Maybe because we really appreciate these moments, these days out of the full year. We don't see each other very often, but we're all on a very similar journey with the same message and belief system.
Yeah, and I think we all come from different backgrounds too, from parts of the world to age groups to professionals to what our mission is, what our part on this team. I mean, everyone, I think we're not a bunch of, we're all 25 years old and racing professional. I think that would create definitely a different experience here than everybody here are just a mix of everything. I mean, we've got people here that, haven't raced in a while. We've got people here that are starting families with who are pregnant.
Sure.
we got everything.
Yeah. People just got engaged.
Yep. It's just a variety, and it's so cool to see that it's not this just, stereotypical kind of, one type of athlete.
Yeah. Yeah, we had each year, I know you've done this before I was on the team, they would have whether it was the breakout performance or male athlete of the year award, age group athlete of the year award, Hall of Fame inductions into the Timex Hall of Fame,
and the rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year, and we had a special one today. Do we want to do this one now?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last year, I don't know if we ever played that last year, and it was everyone was kind of expecting it this year. Or at least there was rumbles of it, rumors of it, hints of it.
Top that one.
Last year, Roger and I presented. It was actually male breakout performance of the year award, and it went to Matt Russell. And so when we went up there, we had a little kind of a skit back and forth of we're going to just tell a story about him, and then we're going to actually present the award to him. But in the process, we wanted to give more attention to who Matt Russell was, or something that would, I guess, identify him.
Right.
And so he is known for wearing an American flag, red, white, and blue running shorts when he runs. And then he does the Blaze Man roll.
Right.
If anybody would look that up, they could see it. So I borrowed actually his running shorts. I asked him if I could borrow them, and I didn't say why. I put them underneath my shorts, my dress shorts that night, and I took off my shirt, my pants, and I was saying that, hey, me and this guy have a lot in common before I took my clothes off. And, of course, we don't have anything in common, but then Roger says, there's no way you guys have anything in common. I go, well, yes, we do. And I started stripping, and then revealed my shorts going, we're both proud to be an American. It just It came to me, and everyone loved it because it was, then we all knew who it was.
Right. Because you saw the shorts and you knew, yeah.
And I don't think we revealed exactly who it was yet, or at least people had some hints. This year, we had a Rookie of the Year award presentation. And so Roger and I did a little bit of brainstorming ahead of time and talk about that process of how do we make this special this year.
You know, and it's all these guys. And Rookie of the Year, I think, to me, is one of the toughest ones to give, because a majority of the rookies have only been on the team 1 year. So
it has to be from them.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to really give you some personality background, because we haven't been hanging out with these guys for very long. So, and Daniel is an amazing guy. Daniel Brescher.
Daniel Brescher, and we've had him on the program twice.
Yeah, and he's an amazing guy. He's really cool. And for a guy that's only been on the team for a year, that lives on the completely opposite side of the country, I feel like I've run into him multiple times, and I've talked to him and feel like he's been on the team for multiple years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. But yeah, so we're trying to think of, okay, we can't just strip. I mean, we can't just because we were hoping it kind of died down, like people didn't remember it, but with a few cues they would remember it. But as we got called up, it immediately started to turn the calls about, one of their clothes are going to stay.
Well, even Barry Siff
alluded to.
He says, now for the entertainment of the night. And this is after the fourth award, the fourth individual award. And now for the entertainment. It's like there's the expectations being raised for you and me coming up.
So, and again, we went through it, and we pawed our way through, we got this stuff that we had to get out, when we were prepping for it. But it's like, how do we put a fun little, twist on it to make it still
an icebreaker, and how do we break into this and keep people entertained without being, here are stats, this guy's great, this guy's did this and that. Let's tell a story behind who he is.
Right.
So fortunately, since we've interviewed him and talked to him before in the past, we had a soundbite, a interview with him, and we kind of quoted that soundbite without saying who he was. And the breakout and why he was the Rookie of the Year for the Timex team this year is because the year before he finished second place at Ironman Wisconsin. And the following year, he wins Ironman Wisconsin and breaks the course record in the process. I guess I'm actually part of the same part of our script here, but that's what legitimized him as our rookie. So I guess we should just play it. Here it is. Okay.
All right. Hopefully it comes out okay.
Here's how it went. I brought my phone with us and I put it up on the podium. So you're going to hear some background noise, but I put the phone on the podium and we were introduced, and then this is what we said. Take a listen. Tristan, thank you again for the email inviting Roger and myself to present this award, but not winning the Rookie of the Year award for the third straight year I think is bullshit.
It's 7 years for me, so I've doubled it. So yeah, hope next year. It's always next year. So at least all of you that don't get that phone call, you're in the running. But this is actually a fun one, because whenever it's a rookie, it's someone that we don't have a great deal of knowledge or experience with. And through the past year, we've gotten to know this person quite well, and spending a little bit of time with him. Sorry, I gave that away. Sorry, girls, you can start eating dessert. he's a guy that is very humble and kind, and I'm sorry this is going to give it away to the person receiving it, but when we were in Kona, my wife had the opportunity to sit and chat with him for quite a while, and one of the first things she left the Castelli meal with was, that guy, he is a really cool dude. He is such a kind and nice. And again, you got to remember, this is someone coming into this little triathlon world at Kona where emotions and egos are running high, and obviously sat down and talked with my wife about something beyond triathlon. So a true character test. So.
And surprisingly, this athlete and I have a lot in common. We're about the same height. I think similar hair color.
Dave. It's not Matt Russell.
It's not Matt Russell? Oh. I get to keep my pants on, what are you saying?
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
That
was a trick. I'm not really. That's my underwear.
You're wearing underwear?
Well, Rich, he told me to.
Okay. So you're gonna have to edit a few things.
So I can't use this.
No.
I can't.
Nope.
No.
That's all.
So just keep my pants on.
Keep your pants on. So what I get to work with. So in 2008, what we would say is this person's second most favorite moment ever was riding the fastest bike split on the day and leading the inaugural Muskoka, I worked with you, Chris, on that one, 70.3, leading the bike into T2 ahead of athletes like Craig Alexander, Simon Lessing, and our own Richie Cunningham.
That was his second favorite moment as an athlete. That's our guess as his second favorite.
Right. That's our guess.
That's what we're thinking will be his second.
I think that's right.
Mm-mm. That was in 2008. Then in 2013.
Oh yes, in 2013 he followed that with a first-place runner-up performance at Ironman Wisconsin, where he swam a 53-minute swim, obviously, biked a 4:49, and ran a 2:57 to finish in 8:46. We interviewed this individual following that event and followed it up with a question with, when you go back home to the drawing board and plan for your future, what areas do you need to work on to move up just one spot?
From the first place runner-up performance. He said, I definitely need to continue progressing my swim. I had a good one today, made the front pack. Usually I'm not a front pack swimmer though, because I'm realistic. Yeah. Usually on second pack. Everything needs to gradually keep improving. I just turned 30 in July, and if I can just improve that 1 or 2% each year, then I'm confident that I'll eventually get a win. That was following his first runner-up place.
So, the following year, in 2014, 5 weeks leading up to Ironman Wisconsin, here are just some rough numbers for us all to think about. He averaged just shy of 25,000 a week in the pool, rode an average of just shy of 400 miles a week, ran an average of about 65 miles a week, and averaged overall more than 37 hours a week of training. So was that enough to make that 1 to 2% gain?
That's focus, that's determination. On September 7th, 2014, that hard work paid off. Third fastest swim split on the day. Third fastest bike split on the day. Course record run split on the day. In fact, it was a 1:23 first half, 1:27 second half. That performance was enough to establish a new course record at Ironman Wisconsin in 2014.
An 8:31:20, besting the prior course record held by Kona's runner-up in 2014, Ben Hoffman, from 2012. His 46th career overall victory, third professional win, and first ever Ironman win, the culmination of an 8-year career.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2014 Timex Rookie of the Year award goes to Daniel Brescher.
Thanks. Dave, you can take your clothes off if you'd like. You have to take yours off.
Oh, not prepared for that. Yeah, so last year, it's my first year on the team, obviously. Well, I'm a rookie last year. When Tristan offered me the spot, it was really an honor. It's a team I've always really looked up to for the professionalism and just all the people that you are and I've gotten to know over all the years. And I was so motivated getting the roster spot to really have a good year, and I felt I had to prove myself, which was silly. But I ended up getting injured in the early season, and last year at camp, I was injured, and I came in feeling sorry for myself, like we always do when we get injured, and like the world's gonna end, and silly stuff. And I remember Bo giving his really inspiring speech last year, and also Suzanne Davis giving one, and they both really motivated me, and I think helped me to find balance and realize that what I'm worried about is just kind of silly little exercise injury. And so I went home from camp with a new spirit and balance, and really started focusing on just doing what I had to do each day to get healthy. And the first half of my season didn't go great because I was pretty far behind from the injury, but then really focused on Wisconsin, and it was really an honor to see it all come together. And this team, it's real personal for me. It's getting to know all of you and all the sponsors, running with Chris and Brian today. And I'm coming here from the airport. I got to sit with Alan Lim for 15 minutes and talk to him about science behind heat acclimation, and that's something, Alan's a legend in my mind, and so that was really cool. And sitting with Ben from Stages last night and talking to him and just forming those personal relationships with our sponsors that really motivates me, and that's what's so special about this team. It's the family. And I'll always remember Ironman Wisconsin last year, 5K to go. I was just a minute in the lead, and I was hurting bad, and second place was closing in on me, and it was just 3 miles to go, and it was like I'm so close. And then I hear someone yelling at me, and it's Tom Schuler over on riding a bike next to me and had a flat tire. Riding a bike with a flat tire, yelling at me to go, and so it's and getting the win there with Tristan there and Dave and Craig and Jackie racing. It was real personal. So thank you all. It's just I can't put into words what an honor it is to race for this team, and I hope when I race my last triathlon ever that I've got Timex across the front of my kit. Thank you.
I think we did our job.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys, you can kind of hear that, and it makes a little bit of sense. Dave kind of walks away from the podium a little bit, but you can, it was good. It was fun. I mean, camera phones are getting pulled out left and right.
They were right away.
They were ready to video something as Dave's unbuttoning his shirt and everything. So.
And famed Ironman triathlon photographer Larry Rosa was here.
Right.
He's been here the last few years taking
right.
team photos. He's very popular in the world triathlon. He's at the finish line. If you're a top finisher, you've seen him. A big guy, bald. He's got a goatee, and he's a really cool guy to take great photos. He was there, and he pulled his camera out as I stepped away from the podium. And then other people were scrambling. Even Cindy Bannock says, I was scrambling to get my camera phone, my video phone. I wanted to get this on camera this year. And actually I had red, tidy, these athletic boxer shorts underneath my pants, and they were red. And I actually lifted them up a tad when I walked by this one table on our left. And they go, ooh, like they got, he's got something underneath the shorts. So it's all build up. So topping, if we're lucky enough next year, and the thing is, there's only 2 rookies available next year.
Yeah, they will have to really screw up.
And lucky for all of us, we've interviewed both of them here at camp.
Right.
And so we're going to have them in upcoming episodes of the podcast, get to know who they are. And they both have great stories. I'll just leave it at that. They got great stories. You're going to hear from both of them in future episodes.
And I think the cool part about that is as people are applying for teams and things like that, both of them are coming from the Timex factory team, which I think is pretty darn cool. And that doesn't mean to be on teams you need to be on a seeding team, but it's just like, it's pretty cool that that's where they came from. So, and they are fast. Holy cow.
Whew. I know I just wrapped up our interview with Elise, and she has aspirations of going pro, and she's very somewhat young in the sport, but got great potential.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes from her. And then the other gentleman we speak with, James, was he 40th overall in Kona last year, 42nd overall finisher in Kona?
Yeah, that's coming up. You'll have to hear.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Other moments here, Roger, of whether it's interactions, standout moments. There's one great story that we heard.
Well, we had a guest speaker, and I don't know how much of that's going to be coming up.
I didn't get any of that. That's a shame. I wanted to record Ellen Hart, a member of the team, had just a very inspirational story of personal challenges in her life to get her to this point. But the background of our athletes.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, besides that the emotional story, everyone comes with a varied background and really smart, good people.
Right. And again, a variety coming from everywhere. It's crazy. We had our sponsors that are here to educate us on the product and what's coming down the road, which there's definitely ones that I get really excited about. Shimano is one. I love their product, the Di2, Ultegra Di2, and of course what's coming out now is the XTR Di2, which is on the mountain bikes. And they've got some other products on their way that are still in kind of designing and finalizing, but the XTR Di2 for mountain biking, the electronic shifting for mountain biking is just crazy. It's so cool. Check it out. It should be arriving out at stores or available here soon, but oh my gosh, it's not. I mean, I look at Di2, it's convenient on our TT bikes and road bikes, but man, when you think about the application of where it would be best, cyclocross and mountain biking, it's just would be perfect for it. So I love it. So I always like to hear what they have to say. Obviously, we picked up a new sponsor with Stages Power Meters, which I was really impressed with that presentation as well as the product.
Yep.
The benefits, the technology, and kind of the direction of that company. So so reasonably priced for a power meter and nothing crazy. And again, I would agree, having had a power meter for years and years and years, from wired to now wireless, having not to attach zip ties and tape and wraps and magnets and things all over your bike is so nice not to have to do anymore. To simply basically put on a crank arm, not the whole crank, just the left arm, which matches up with your other side. So you basically buy one crank arm, and then there's an app on your phone that you can do all your calibration through if you want. It uploads to Ant Plus.
Yep.
And
is there even Bluetooth with this one? They all have Ant Plus for sure.
I'm like going, wait a minute.
Ant Plus for sure, because he was talking about different products that would receive the information.
Right,
as long as you have Ant Plus, then you're good.
So it's Ant Plus.
Yeah.
And then the ease of the battery change. I mean, it's just that all in all, just the functionality.
Every
of it,
year something new.
It's just like, all it takes is your typical battery watch. You just turn this, pop it in, close it. I mean, it's just like, wow, that's just too easy.
Thank you.
So definitely, and I know a lot of you guys out there have explored that and looked at it, and now there's other companies that are coming out with products as well. But the price point of like what their most expensive one is $800 for the crank arm, the left crank arm, with the power meter already. I mean, that's a steal. That's a great deal. I've watched them even go up on different eBay or something like that. And they don't really vary that much. It's not like people are dumping them for $400. It's like they're basically going for practically what they're selling for.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to see them hold their value even in the used field. Like maybe someone got one and didn't want it anymore, or sold their bike, or I don't know. Got the wrong crank arm. Who knows? So, well, I think we're going to see a big flood in the market of left crank arms because people will get their Stages power meter and then look, I got a left crank arm. What do I do with this? Oh, see if someone wants to buy it. You know, everyone's after a left crank arm. But yeah, they do it all. And if you need the whole crank assembly, they can sell you that too. So, but Stages power meter is pretty cool. And again, this isn't promotion. I mean, I guess it kind of is. It's not what the goal is. It's just more of telling you kind of what we found. There's obviously a lot of other products out there, but I was impressed by that presentation.
One thing that was surprising to me, and it's constantly in education, is and this is a sponsor, but it's I guess the philosophy behind it and the science behind it with this Squirt wax-based chain
lube,
lube, wax-based versus petroleum-based, and understanding the difference between the two. We had a U.S. Pro cycling champion was helping this present this product, as well as an Xterra world champion, an age group world champion, the older gentleman.
Oh, okay. And Ned Overend, though, is national champion as well. He but he wasn't here, but he uses the product, endorses the product as well. But yeah, the wax base is pretty cool. Having used petroleum base for so long, and how it attracts the dirt, repels the water but attracts the dirt, and the wax is essentially, when you get your chain or a new chain, you want to strip it with an acetone or something, totally strip it, let it dry, and then you apply the wax. And essentially that's all you do and then you apply it again, and the stuff is called Squirt. It's actually out of South Africa, but the distributor is here in Boulder, isn't it?
Right.
It Boulder?
It is, yeah.
And
that's where they work out of.
Yeah, so it's a really cool product. They had if you go to check them out, they show every type of product that's out there and talks and relates it to watts saved.
Yeah, that was surprising that
or
like
watts
a
lost.
3 to 5 watts difference between a wax-based and some of the petroleum-based, where they are on the graph.
Right. Yeah. So it's cool. They show you that. You can look at it. But yeah, I've known a lot about wax, but it was really cool to hear them actually talk about it and explain it in more detail, because I don't know. It's easier when someone explains it to me and you can ask questions and go, oh wow, this is actually a lot easier than I thought. But if you think about it, because we have problems with the binding of dirt and grit on our roads to our chains because of the oils, it attracts the dirt, it repels the water, but the wax doesn't attract dirt. So it doesn't attract, those particles that get in the chain. So, and of course wax repels water as well. So it's basically repelling everything, and then you just wipe it off and reapply another coat of wax. So I'm excited to give it a go. Yeah,
and he was saying that it's a replacement or reapplying every 100 miles of cycling, or every 50 on the mountain bike.
Right. Well, obviously mountain bikes, it's basically time. It's pretty easy to get 100 miles on a bike.
Yeah.
Getting 100 miles on a mountain bike takes a lot longer. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, that was very technical.
It was. Yeah, but it was smart. It was. I still can't get over the Scratch Labs Alan.
Yeah, that guy is just...
It's beyond just nutrition with him.
Blew my mind. And it was beyond... Yeah, it was totally beyond the product. It was just about our bodies. And yeah, the guy's a wealth of knowledge. He worked on a Pro Tour team.
PowerTap.
Followed that. Well, he was part of PowerTap's development.
Yes, in the beginning.
And then he moved on from that. I mean, it's just like, this guy's... You just sit and just talk to him and...
Oh, I got a great topic for you. Sorry, I was just thinking of the same room. And our presentation by Davidson.
Chris Davidson.
And he was talking about Trek bikes. And we had some, we were in the same room for this one.
Right.
We had some athletes in there, and we were talking about what areas an athlete, and listeners, this is perfect, what steps can you take to get the most bang for your buck in terms of power or aerodynamics on a bike?
Or the best return on your bike.
On your bike. And there's so much was talked about with aerodynamics and how a person, the smaller you get, doesn't necessarily mean, or how lower you get in your bike means better speed, or
right.
And there's something you can do to combat all that. And he says the best bang for your buck, which blew me away and makes me. I wrote this down.
Right.
Wind tunnel
testing, and there's a lot of different places you can do it. But if you can go to a wind tunnel and it's like, say $400 an hour, and someone does the fit for you and everything like that, it's a pretty cool deal. But of course, it's beyond $400 because you have to travel to it, you have to stay there, and stuff. But there are some packages out there, groups out there you can join, like camps. That do that. There's one over in, I know some people that have gone that they actually ride it on a velodrome, which is supposedly even more accurate, but in some regards. But it's very interesting. It's definitely, and of course everyone's like, what? That's ridiculous. It's like I just want to keep buying stuff that.
Can you imagine a one investment of $500, and if it were to increase you by 30 or 20 minutes over an Ironman,
right?
How much? Would you rather go and spend the hours and money and time?
You can buy an Aero helmet for $400, and the Aero helmet's going to save you, 2 seconds over,
I just think that if you put it over a 2-year time or a 1-year time, break that down and we're to budget $400 over a year, I think I would be willing to do that versus having to go out and work my butt off to hopefully get 20 minutes, and I doubt I could get 20 minutes at my current position and setup.
It is. It definitely is it's hard for most people to wrap their brain around. It's like, it'd be cool if we did our camp over in a wind tunnel. It's like this camp was in a wind tunnel area, and you could sign up for, wind tunnel time or come a day early to the wind tunnel.
No question, I'd do it.
It'd be really cool. I know I've done bike fits, or I've had a bike fit by one of the best bike fitters considered in the world, and and some people that he works with, he takes 2 or 3 hours on because their position's so screwed up.
Wow.
And then and that was my biggest fear. It's like, what if he takes that long? And I realize I've been misfit for so long, but he took like 20 minutes at best with me. And I'm just like, part of me felt like, it's like, well, I didn't really get a lot for my money, but at the same time, reassuring that I wasn't that out of whack, made me feel really good,
Yeah. And the second number on that list, second item, and I don't know how many of you out there are doing this, but I'm a big proponent of it, and it doesn't matter which product you choose, but finding a power meter for your bike. Yeah. And we had an athlete who doesn't use a power meter or has not used a power meter, and she's not the first athlete that I know of at an elite level who doesn't use it. And it still surprises me when you don't.
I again, I'm probably the wrong guy to talk to if you're, opponent to power meters. I just think if you're watching your heart rate on your bike, if you even collect that data, you should be looking at your power. I mean, because your heart rate's just a reaction of your work, which is power. So why wouldn't you just look at the immediate work? So, and that's what's happening right now. So I just think they're very valuable. And even if you don't even use it, say, oh, this is certain zones and I need to do intervals here or there. I think it's really cool just to go out and ride, and you're going to start to figure it out. The more, as you're collecting data, as you're just riding and what you feel like and what it's producing and going, wow, I just started this hill and it's this many watts. It's like, yeah, but can you hold that many watts? Well, no. So, again, it's all just data that's flowing through your mind that you eventually start to categorize and it makes sense. But, or you simply do a test and get someone that can explain it to you, and it's not that complicated.
I get so geeky, nerdy, excited when I think about seeing the positive results, or finally getting a variability index that's 1.01, and going, yes, now I'm getting it, or that was a solid workout. I'm going to benefit from that workout now, as opposed to those 1.13s. It's like
or 1.3s.
Yeah, it's like, what have I been doing? And now it's smarter. Now it's efficient.
And it's easy to get the 1.0s or 1.01, variability, which is talking about your variability of power from the highs and lows over the period of time in a certain workout. Is that it's easy to do on a trainer though, because you can just keep it nice and steady. There's no variance. But when you go outside and you take off and you roll into uphills and you're on a downhill and you're taking off from a stoplight, or you're trying to make a light, or whatever you have, you look at your power profile and it's just
these peaks and valleys,
all over the place. So,
I spoke with a couple of athletes this weekend, and one that stands out recently is that I spoke with was Felicity Joyce.
Right.
And she's awesome. Really good friends with, I don't know if best friends, but really good friends with Meredith. Yeah. And they work out of San Francisco.
Yep.
And so they're at the same gym, and they're under Purple Patch with not Brett Sutton.
Matt Dixon.
Matt Dixon. So they work with him, and I was asking her about the question of power of indoor training because they do a majority of that. They have to, versus getting on the road. And I know I'm just a wimp and it's sometimes laziness, but I do prefer the trainer for the convenience of it. I know you're just the opposite.
I'm dead opposite.
Dead opposite. And I'm struggling to get outside. But the focus that someone can do to hit their numbers on a trainer and the challenge of finding the consistency on the road. And I understand getting seat time, getting out there, feeling the gravity and the wind and all good stuff. But the benefits, if you were to be a proponent, of trainer rides, would you talk about that as...
Oh, I mean, I see the value in it, though. I really do. I just see that, though, if it's an 80-degree day and sunny, I'm like,
Granted.
Why would you ride inside? It just like, if you can get outside. But, a lot of us, the weather's not right, in terms of it's dumping rain or whatever, it's snowy or it's icy, it's dark, whatever.
Yeah.
I can totally see the value of riding. But it's not about just sitting on the bike and turning your legs around. It's about... And again, with a power meter, that really helps. It tells you the work you do. My wife, who I got a power meter many years ago, she just said, why did you get me one? It's a loss. I mean, I'm not going to pay. I mean, I'm not into all this tech geeky stuff. And then after she rode with it for a while, it's like, oh my gosh, my indoor training is so much better because of it, because I'm not just turning my legs around going, yes, I'm working hard, because I'm hot and, I'm riding and my wheels are turning. It's like, no, you need to be producing this much power. This is the zone you need to be in while you're riding. This is what you'd be riding outdoors. So it's really cool that the power meter keeps you far more focused and accurate and keeps you from slacking and just sitting basically, spinning your wheels indoors. However, the power meter indoors allows you to keep power really constant. So when you go outside and you start riding, just even on a flat road, you'll see the power that you're seeing will fluctuate a great deal. But in general, what you're producing. Some people like to look at average power so it doesn't freak them out as much.
Yeah.
But, you can be riding along and, say, be producing 150 watts, and then it goes 180, then it goes down to, 100, 120, but it's about smoothing that out as you're riding. And the more you do it, the more you get it. But, all of a sudden the road pitches up a little bit, and okay, I want to maintain 150 watts, on this gradual uphill, so you got to shift down. If you don't, all of a sudden you're seeing 225. It's like, well, I want 150, but this feels okay. It's like 150. That's where you want to be. So you're having to adjust that. On a trainer, it's really easy to adjust. You shift a gear and, pedal a little harder, change your cadence. Or if you're using a CompuTrainer, you just lock it in. I'm riding 200 watts right now, and you ride, which is great too. But a power meter that's on your bike, you're having to adjust your gears and intensity to that. So, yeah, I think they're very beneficial. But I just think people need to make sure if you're riding the trainer indoors that you aren't just kind of riding a trainer. It's just like a treadmill. It's like I could get on a treadmill, but it gives you metrics. I could turn on the treadmill at a 5 miles an hour and just kind of jog on it and go, yeah, I ran really hard for an hour and a half. It's like, no, you ran for an hour and a half, but what if you ran outside? What would you have done? Well, you'd likely have ran harder than that, and maybe you shouldn't have. And so I love treadmills for easy runs. I love indoor
for those
trainer.
Zone 1 and Zone 2s,
where just ones, just that you want to keep it, because you go outside, you just start increasing your pace, and you're going, well, I feel okay, and this is feeling all right, It's like, well, yeah, because you started off really easy, So I love the trainer for, easy, nice recovery rides, because you can say, I'm going to go easy when you go outside, and then you eventually find yourself just riding normal. So,
and for those that are still contemplating a power meter, it's great to establish those zones, so when you are in a race and you're in race day conditions, what your limits are, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think for especially endurance stuff like, halves and fulls, it in a lot of cases it creates ceilings. It creates ceilings of I don't want to see anything above this number. And we all know at the start of any race, when you hop on the bike, you take off and you go, well, I didn't want to see anything above, say, 200 watts, and I'm seeing 260 right now, and I'm seeing 280.
But I feel great.
But I feel great. But it's just like, who are you fooling? You know, it's just like 4 hours from now, are you going to be feeling great? No, you're going to be down at 110
But at my
watts.
best
You're
bike
gonna
split of the
blow
day,
up. Yeah.
but your run sucked.
Yeah, but you didn't even finish the run. I think that really allows to accommodate. And, you know, your heart rate, you know, in races is really, you know, very subjective in terms of what's going on. You're really well recovered. You got a lot of nerves going on, but that doesn't mean you're really working, you know, your body. But the power is the power is the power. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff out there.
I know another interview we got coming up is a gentleman on our team who's a twin. We've got two twins on our team, and their twin is not on the team, but they are a member of a twin. And one of the gentlemen's name is Craig Lanza, and he had a good conversation with you about an interview that you did with young Emma Thompson.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. Yeah, he has a younger daughter as well that's into swimming, and he had her listen to that interview, I think, multiple times.
Episode 108.
108, yeah, it was kind of funny. So we talked about that a little bit, and talked about parenting and sports and kids in a little bit. So
we'll have that in an upcoming show.
Put that up later.
Yeah, we'll include that in our show in a week or couple weeks or so when it's appropriate. I don't know. It's so neat to be down here in Tucson, and I mean the weather's fantastic.
Oh.
We had one rough day when we first got here, but since then
It wasn't even a rough day though.
Not for us. It's not from
Oh
Spokane.
my gosh, it was overcast, and I was out running in a t-shirt and shorts and felt absolutely perfect. And actually, it started just raining a little bit. I mean, just sprinkling, and I'm still going, this is amazing. And then it stopped raining. I mean, but again, we are in the desert. So.
Which I'm glad you brought up running, because this reminded me of one more cool thing, or one thing we can talk about, is our group event that we did. We were broken up into 8 teams, and everyone on the team was issued, fortunately, this new Timex Ironman 1 GPS Plus sports watch, the ones that's untethered to your phone, so you can receive messages, send messages. There's so many things with this, but you play music on it and so on. Well, it keeps track. You can upload your data from your watch directly to Strava, for example. And the goal was to run out in the area of Tucson and create the word Timex.
So after you were done with the run, you download it, and it would show you your route that you ran, and the route you ran would spell Timex.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there was different categories of who can go out there and come back the fastest and do it. But we had teams of 5 or 6 people.
Right.
You could do it in cursive, the most creative, and took the quickest amount of time, and so on. So I had really high hopes for our team, and we were probably the worst.
You guys were sweating.
Flip it
a
around,
lot.
Bruce. Flip it around. The monitor's on the other side. No. Don't move the camera.
The monitor.
Yeah.
Just turn it around.
By the way, Bruce is behind the camera. Bruce was on last year's podcast on location from Florida.
I think we were talking drugs.
We were.
Talking a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We did.
Do you want to join us right now, or are you just kind of being a instigator?
I'm an instigator.
Okay.
One
okay.
minute. You want 1 minute?
Come on
All
over
right.
here. Pull up a chair there. Pull up a chair in between us. This is great. This is like Jordan Rapp coming up in Whistler. We just get ourselves an athlete. So,
Get yourself an athlete. Well, how
about
Bruce just left.
he's a swimmer. He's not an athlete.
Yeah.
We can continue on with this topic of our game. Or you
Well,
want?
how about just highlight a camp?
Okay, here we go. In the red mic, Bruce. What was the highlight of your camp here, 2015?
Oh, that's pretty easy. I came out here early, and I got the opportunity to climb Mount Lemmon. And that was by far one of the most awesome things that I've ever done.
Coming from Tennessee.
Coming from Tennessee. Yeah, where it's relatively hilly, but, nothing like that.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
crazy.
the sights, we were climbing up into the mountains, and there were clouds up there. It was a chilly day. Today would have been a whole lot better, but, we got up to the top. We got our cookie. And
Now, what's the cookie? Everyone talks about getting to the top. And
well,
getting
I
a
think it's
cookie.
called the cookie. I actually took a picture of it. I think it's called the cookie barn or something. I don't know what it is, but anyways, there's a cookie up there about the size of a pizza,
Oh my gosh.
and they all
$7.
$7. But that's the cookie was kind of secondary to the coffee.
Oh, because
that
you guys
you
were
could-
freezing.
because we were freezing. You paid $3.50 for that, but you got free refills. So I got 2 of those to kind of warm me up for the way down. But it was great. We got up there, and then on the way down, I think I was challenged by Sam Mazer to catch Lisa Roberts on the way down with 18 miles to go, and it was on like Donkey Kong. She and I were going back and forth, probably going well over 40, 45 miles an hour. I didn't know the mountain to save my life going around turns, but there was just no way I was going to let a woman meet me.
This is her backyard, too.
This is her backyard. I'm not getting chicked by a woman. She'll sit there and tell you that I rode down the mountain screaming like a girl, and I think there were times that I probably was. There were times where I was out of the aero bars, because, you're trying to take apex going around turns.
Right.
I didn't know what was there, and she's just flying down them. So, but I will tell you this. She was the one sucking wheel for the last 6 miles.
Right,
So,
getting back to town.
yeah, getting back to town, and it's crazy because you can really tell the difference between temperature when you come down to around 5,000 or 6,000 feet. You
Right.
just start heating up. So that was by far one of the greatest things. And then we rode Gates Pass on, I believe, Tuesday. That was awesome. Just, and I think, and I'm sure you guys have talked about this, but just the camaraderie that we have as teammates. I mean, I think it just kind of stinks that we can only see each other, most people once a year,
Right,
just
right.
because of where we're geographically located. So, but the award ceremony was great. Ellen Hart's speech was awesome. The awards. Watching Dave Orlovsky get a little teary-eyed.
Right, little. Holy cow.
Yeah. So I think it's just this is the quintessential family right here. Other than the ones that we have, this is about as close to other dudes
Right.
that I'm gonna get. I love you guys.
Right, yep.
So that was and it always stinks when it ends.
Right.
Because you kind of feel like, well, first of all, I got to go back to work on Monday, so that's really gonna suck. But the good thing is I just whittled my emails down to about 42 in the room. So, but I think it's I think Timex does a really good job of finding, just the right people to get together.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anybody on this team that doesn't get along with somebody else.
Right.
So, I think, at times my family's probably jealous
Right.
of, how close I am to other people. I mean, I know my wife is ready for me to come home, and I know there's a honey-do list that's about, the size of New York for me to do, but... I'm getting ready here to take off in about 10 minutes. Got to drive to Phoenix, and you just have that emotion of like, it's kind of like the post Ironman depression.
Yeah, right.
This is the post camp depression. It's kicking in now.
Right.
It always reminds me, and I always send it out. In the movie Stripes, when Bill Murray's girlfriend leaves him, he has no job. He can't do 10 sit-ups. He falls on the couch, and he goes, and then depression set in. That's kind of what, the end of camp feels like.
Yeah, it was last year we were all three at the airport. Sorry, all three of us were at the airport, was it?
Right. Yeah.
So our camp extended like a little bit longer,
Right,
but even
right,
then,
yeah.
of knowing that I'm walking, when we walk away to our next terminal or gates, that's really it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That was kinda-
I got another 10 minutes with you guys
Right.
here. I was just coming
Absolutely.
down here. I saw you two knuckleheads from my balcony. I was like, well, what are those guys doing over there?
Nothing.
So,
honestly.
but I mean, I can't say enough about what, Timex does with us.
We were talking about some of the presentations. Which one of the presentations kind of stands out in your mind? In terms of, doesn't mean that it's the best one. It just stands out.
I tell you this, I really learned a lot more and have a little bit more understanding about challenge tires.
Yeah, absolutely.
And handmade tires and what they go through. And I have to tell you, and I've already told you this, that anytime you're talking about tightness and rubber and all that other stuff, it was just it was a very childish and
Very engaging.
Yeah, very very eventful presentation for me. But I think all of them were great. Scratch Labs was absolutely phenomenal. I love, I guess it's Alan, is that his name?
Yeah.
I love his philosophy and just being able to stick the finger to whoever he wants to, because he is his own boss.
Right.
And I think all of us aspire to have something like that someday, to where, we're not working for the man, but we are our own boss.
Right.
And the reason, why'd you make the cookies? Just so I could flip the bird off at somebody and say,
Right.
we did it.
Right.
So that was really good, but I think all of them were really good. I think, again, we're set up to kill it.
Right.
With the equipment that we have and the support that we have. So, they're all good.
Yeah, that was fun. That was good. It was packed full. It seems like we were constantly
Oh, we were go,
of
yeah.
value. I didn't really find us ever sitting going.
No, and you think about it, we didn't hear anything from Skins, and I'm sure that they were real busy. But I mean, the sponsorship that we have is
Trek
phenomenal.
wasn't hurt either, and that would.
Yeah,
we only have two
I've got
people that got new bikes, so
yeah. So
there were only 2 new people that needed it.
Yeah, so I think I guess we heard, which is the good news, is that ours are on the way.
Right.
And until then we have our old ones, which really actually don't stink.
No,
so
they don't.
It's just we're getting the same bike, only a different paint scheme.
Well, as usual, I guess. As usual, we had the U of A Rec Center swim facility for those 3 mornings in a row, and that was a fantastic place to go. And I mean, you led the group as usual.
Yeah, it's a great outdoor pool. I just wish the sun would come up a little bit earlier.
Right.
Just to give us an opportunity to maybe get some sun on some seriously pasty white body here. I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know about you guys, but a beautiful facility. I went there. I think I got in 3 really good swims. Again, I got in today. Led another group of women, and yesterday we had a 5,200 yard workout that was phenomenal. Doing all the racing with Richie Cunningham, and Superman was over there, and Hodges bringing up the rear. Just basically, trying to tickle the toes to get me to go a little faster. So, it was all good, all good.
That was fun.
Never enough time.
Never enough time.
Never enough time. And that's great that you can actually get some working out done.
Right.
At a camp, like this, where you're looking to talk to sponsors and have some fun and stuff like that. So it's a good combination. But if any Timex teammates listen to this, and like I said, we've been talking for years about getting together and training, and I just loved, when we were going out Mount Lemmon, and I posted these pictures on Facebook, being able to sit in the back of the group and take my camera and take pictures of all the Timex riders with their Timex kits getting ready to go up Mount Lemmon. Just seeing that, just kind of warms your heart a little bit. So, but we'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully we come back here. A lot of people were discussing, the wind tunnel. Maybe we can have the first annual Timex wind tunnel camp. And get people to come out here earlier and jump in something like that.
Yeah, do a day before or 2 days.
At a hugely decreased or discounted price would be really nice. Whoever's listening to this at the Arizona Wind Tunnel right now. So, but we'll see what happens. It's all good.
Well, I have to go and pack.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to leave in 5 minutes. I have to drive to Phoenix. So, we all got to.
I have a shuttle.
Yeah, so. All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Bruce.
I appreciate it. Raj, thanks for having me.
Hey. Again, always.
All right.
Well, staying here officially, 30 seconds. Let's wrap up episode 131 of the Endurance Hour podcast alongside Richard.
That's your brother-in-law.
Roger, Bruce, Dave, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for upcoming episodes featuring more athletes here from Timex Camp. Take care.
Take care.